Hey guys, this is the discussion 5B post regarding designing a plyometric program for a case study, and I chose to do the high school basketball team. So as we read this week, like one of the main components of designing a plyometric program is like starting with the needs analysis. Like, where do we go? What do they need? What do their positions what do their positions require of them physiologically, and how can we incorporate that if we're doing a whole team? How can we really reach each position and each athlete? So a basketball team, they're going to need, the sport itself is going to require them to have quick starts, like quick bursts of energy, quick stopping, and starting and stopping both together. Vertical jump, okay, if they're doing rebounds, if they're doing a jump or jumping at the very beginning, that's going to be a huge component, is the jumping component. Also going to have lateral movement. So if they're on, defense and they are defending the opposing team, they're going to be shuffling back and forth. Okay, and again, they're going to have quick turns, change of positions. That's just the nature of the sport. So really, that's those main points of what the sport requires of the athlete help me to figure out, okay, what are some of the movements that I would want them to do if I was designing a program for them. And you're gonna produce a maximum effort of muscular force in such a short amount of time. So again, we really wanna focus on developing that in a warm-up, so that way we are having them best prepared for their practice or their competition, their game, whatever it may be. We wanna make sure their muscles are prepared for that. So a lot of these movements are going to be lower body, and it can be either counted, not necessarily reps, but in foot contacts or distance. So some of these I would have them do the movement for some distance, and then others like that involve a box, I would have them do it for a set amount of reps. And again, if it's a sports team, you might even have them do it line up and do it first line of 5 go, and do squat jumps or side skips. So it's a little different when it's a team versus just an individual, and I had to keep that in mind when I was suggesting what movements to use. A huge part, I guess a really big difference from what I read of a warm-up versus a plyometric program is like the rest time, not only during the program, but also in between the times you do the program. So if we're talking resting while you're doing the program, there should be 5 to 10 seconds of rest during each rep. So these are going to be far more taxing on the body than let's just do a stretch. No, these you actually need to build in that rest too. And then that's the fourth, so 5 to 10 seconds in between reps, but then 2 to 3 minutes in between sets. So at times like this could be a pretty long program. And I know that half and triplet talks about if you're gonna couple these with resistance training, not to train the same muscle. So you don't want to do so this one for the basketball team, it really is focused on lower body. So you wouldn't want to have them do this lower body plyometric program and a lower body lift day. You don't want to put too much taxation on the muscles and then risk injury or risk overtraining. So I kind of got off a little bit on a tangent about rest, but so for reps, 5 to 10 seconds, for sets, 2 to 3 minutes in between each movement. And then as far as days for rest, the text suggested that there's about a 2 to 3 day between sessions, so 48 to 72 hours between each program or program day. Okay, and just like with a warm-up, there should be a progression of intensity, of volume, and frequency. However, when intensity increases, usually your volume decreases. So let's just get started. So I wanted to have them do, again, a low intensity, a dynamic warm up before they get to the plyometric drills per se. So all of these 3 warm-up pieces, so the shuffling footwork, because they're going to be doing that when they're on defense, they're going to be doing that in a game and in practice, butt kicks just to get those lower muscles warmed up, and then forward lunges. So I have it set where I would want them to do it for 50 feet and kind of run through that 3 times. So this would be a way for, if we're doing an entire team, say, line up on the line, and then, I apologize, the heat just kicked on. Line up in a line, and the first 5 do shuffling footwork, and then the next 5 do butt kicks, and then the next 5 do forward lunges, and then just rotate. That way everybody is still doing something, and they're not just kind of standing around for a warm-up. Now that wouldn't really work for the plyometric drills, because you need to have that rest time built into the few seconds in between sets, or in between reps, and then the 2 to 3 minutes in between sets. So the shuffling footwork, really it would be just like probably what they're working on in their practices. So, you're gonna have them start, and then they're just gonna move laterally. So you're just gonna get a flex in your knees and your hips. That way you're engaging those quad muscles, and then you're just moving. You're getting the body ready for the more intense drills to come, and then ultimately for whatever is going to follow a plyometric program. Okay, and then butt kicks. Really, they're just what they sound like. So you're just kicking your feet behind you and trying to contact your glute. Really just getting those knee joints ready to work. Okay, so we want to make sure we prevent injury. So adding a little bit of a warm up is going to help, so that way they're not just going in cold to a plyometric drill. And then forward lunges. I'll show this one. It's a little bit more technical. This isn't walking; it's just stationary. You're just moving 1 foot at a time. So you would start with shoulder width apart, and then you would take an exaggerated step with one of your feet, making sure that your foot stays straight ahead. We don't want it turned. We don't want it turned out or turned in. And then your whatever leg is staying behind, you would flex your knee and your hip, and then move your knee to the ground. You can leave it like 1 to 2 inches. You can touch the ground. But just making sure that even that back foot is straight ahead. We don't want, our feet off kilter. We want them straight ahead. And then again, making sure that that knee does not go past the front foot, and making sure that our knees aren't caving in, either on the descent or the ascent. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show that. And then they can just alternate with those forward lunges. I didn't show it with movement forward, but again, each one of those 3 warm-ups I would have them do for like a 50-foot distance, okay? And then let's get into the plyometric drill part of this. So I have quite a few movements. The first one would be squat jumps. So they would start in a squat position. Arms can either be onto the side. Some people would put them overhead, like in the textbook demonstration. Personally, I don't care for arms overhead. I'd rather have them at my side. But again, that's at the discretion of the individual. So they're going to start in a squat position and then explode up and then land back in the squat position. But really make sure that your knees aren't going over your toes. And when you land, you're not landing with your knees caving in or knees caving out too much. We want to make sure that these movements are safe still. And then I'll explain 2 of them. So then the next one would be a single leg angle hop. So you shift your weight to one side or one leg, and then flex the opposite leg, like bring the knee up, and then you're hopping. You're using that ankle and foot to push off the ground. It's not not a huge jump. Again, we're just warming up those joints. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate the squat jump and then the single leg hop. So again, you start about shoulder width apart. I'll do it both from the front and from the side. So you're gonna start in a squat and then jump. Okay, so you can see this from the outside or the side in a squat position. The next one, it could be a two-part, so I'm gonna talk about a progression of it, because again, progression should occur in this program too. So it would be a split squat jump. So you're gonna start in a split squat. Okay. And then the next one would be a box jump or a double leg jump to a box. And really, this one is probably, as far as intensity level, it's considered low. However, if the person is progressing with volume and intensity, there are ways you can make it a little harder. They recommend that the box be 6 to 42 inches high. So the box that I'm going to use, I have it turned on its side, and it's a 20 inch. But if that seems too easy for an athlete, or you want to progress their jump, there's always ways you can get a higher box. You can, have them explode, more of an explosion up. But again, so for the double leg box jump, you're going to face the box, and then you're gonna have the feet shoulder width apart. Okay, your arms can be used to help jump, and then you're gonna begin with your knees slightly flexed. Your back is gonna be neutral, and your arms can be back. That's fine. But you're gonna explode up and then land with 2 feet on the box. Okay. And kind of land with both feet in a half squat position, and then you can step down from the box and repeat. Some people could jump down, that could be another progression, but really it should be a jump on the box with 2 feet and then a step down. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. All right, guys, and then that would be really the program. Kind of have them run through it a few times, but again, make sure they have those rests in between the sets and the reps. Lastly, the difference, if I was going to pick a different case study, would really be, again, on sport specificity. So if I chose to pick the fencing team, which honestly I really don't know what fencing is, I know that they would be using different parts of the body. That's something I'd have to research. But if I did like the water polo team, they're gonna have more of a full body plyometric program because they're using their arms, they're using their legs in the water. So really the change would be to mimic whatever it is that the sport demands of the athlete. Thanks, guys.